Okay, so this is going to be a short video just showing how to manually add bookings to the booking calendar. Um, and so this is from the back end uh, as opposed to the front end. So when I say front end, that would be what regular users go and they use, a form on the Scudder Cottages site, which I'll show you in a moment here. Let's see. Let's go to the home page first. This is how regular users will do this. They'll go over to booking form, and they'll have to follow this procedure in Pay, right? So they would come in through here, they choose their dates, they would be logged in at this point, so it would be known whether they were a family member or not to get this form. And then they would fill in all this information and hit send. And so that's the way to do it as from the front end. And I guess that'd be fine if you want to use that. The other way to do it is from the back end, where you go in to look at all the bookings. This would be like an administrator. So if I go to bookings, you can see this calendar. So this is our current week, and you can see moving in this Saturday. There's a few people. I believe that's Collins. Collins is heading in all three of them. So you can see the current week, or you can look at a view that's the current month, or a 2-month view. And when it says resources, that means like a resource is in the house. So when I say all resources, that means caper, red, and yellow. You could also view it as a listing instead of as like a calendar. So they go to listings. You can see it's more one after the other like this. So I don't know which, depending on what information you're looking for or what you want to see, one or the other might be more useful for you. Now, if you're adding a booking, you're going to click on Add Booking over here. So click here, Add Booking. And first thing, you're going to choose which cottage it is that you're booking. If someone, for example, I notice here like Collins, they're booking all three. You do have to set them up as 3 separate bookings, unfortunately. You could treat this as one booking that lasts for 2 weeks, or you could treat it as 2 separate bookings that each are 1 week long. That's up to you. If these people were on the front end and they were making payments and submitting the information, I suppose it would probably be easier for them to do 2 weeks all at once, because then it's 1 payment here, 1 payment here, and 1 payment here. But I think that's kind of a decision you'll have to come up with for your workflow. Like even here, like it's interesting these folks have it for a very long period of time. I don't imagine that they would want to have to go in there and have to make separate bookings for every single week. But that's sort of, it's a decision we've got to make. So when you want to add a booking, so let's say we want to add the 2nd week of Collins here. So they come in on the 6th, they leave on the 13th. So what we do is first we look at red and select rental, and then the date. So they're coming in on the 6th, leaving on the 13th. And then over here, you do have to put a value in for everything. And I just have last names, so I'm just, if one of these users, like if the Collins family actually was filling this out on the front end over here, they would be putting in their information. But as an admin, it might be kind of a pain to have to go through and enter all that information manually. So you fill that out, and then you come down here. It asks if you're staying less than 7 nights. On the front end, some of these things happen automatically. So on the front end, when a user comes in to do this, so let's say that we choose, 6th to the 13th, it automatically selects on the front end the question about, it automatically asks them which one they're staying at to calculate a cleaning fee, and it also automatically calculates whether they're staying 7 nights or less, so that they won't have to, it's kind of redundant for a user to have to enter that. For the admin back here, because this goes directly to the database, you do have to manually do it. So you configure these. This one's about pets. This is about a mooring. And then you can add in any additional details here, hit accept the terms. And I'm turning off the email notification because I'm just putting in a made up email for this person because all I have is the last name. So you may want to turn that off. And then you go up here to add booking. So click here, add booking, and now the booking is in. So if I go over to the bookings page, I should now see, so that one was for the coming week, and now you can see this new listing here for that week from the 6th to the 13th is now booked for the red, but it's not booked yet for caper or yellow. And then here, if I do a 2-month view, it's a little bit more obvious. You can see this 1 week is booked for all 3, and now here we've just made a booking for the red. So we'd need to go in and do a booking now for caper and a booking for yellow for those to appear. I do want to show you, just in case you're curious, so that one that we just made is this booking here, right? Starting on the 6th. So if I click that, you can see some of the details, and I can even click this pencil and go in and change some of these settings, and then hit change your booking. One thing to be aware of, last thing, I won't drag this out too long for you, is that you cannot add bookings historically. So this Excel file that you gave me, I'm actually not able to input these because, these ones, because these dates have already passed. So, I mean, if you really, really, really want to have it in here for some reason, historically, to be able to look back on your records to see, I could try to find a way to go in manually to the database and kind of break the rules and add these retroactively. But it is set up to prevent people from being able to accidentally book, in a past year or something like that. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful. If you want me to go in and do all of these, I can do it. I just, it's a tricky thing because, I work hourly, so yes, it does create more work that allows me to get paid to do all this. On the other hand, there's a good chance that you may have the preference that you want, Scudder Cottages to be autonomous with data entry and bookings and not rely on me. So either way, I'm happy to take care of this in whichever way you want, but I really wanted to make this video so you would see how it's possible for you to do it. Okay, hope this helps.